This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything, but more on them later. As of the time of filming, Tudor is in a glaring slump. They experienced a 23% decline in turnover and a 34% decline in overall sales from 2023 to 2024. If we look at the Morgan Stanley Swiss Watch Report for 2024, we see Tudor fall out of the top 20, going from the 17th position down to the 21st, which is a pretty sharp devaluation. In this video, we're going to look at the 4 reasons why I think this is happening, and if this is going to be a trend that we see continue for Tudor going forward. First thing to address, Tudor isn't the only brand experiencing tough times. This has been affecting the luxury sector, the entire luxury sector in the macro sense, from high-end bags and designer clothes to watches. It's been so noteworthy that economists have called this the Great Luxury Slowdown. Brand executives and leaders know that we are in hard times, and I think there's going to be a complete shift in the watch landscape as we know it. So this is a little spreadsheet that I made for myself. It just helps me read data better. The brands in green are the brands that performed better between 2023 and 2024, if better means higher turnover, which it mostly does because these are for-profit businesses. In the top 50 Swiss watch brands, only 11 performed better between 2023 and 2024. And Tudor isn't actually the brand that did the worst in a monetary sense. Omega lost 210 million Swiss francs in this time period, but Tudor had a harder hit as a percentage, from 545 million Swiss francs in 2023 to 360 million in 2024, representing a 34% downturn. So the big question is why? From an enthusiast perspective, Tudor is a powerhouse. I feel like most of the people in our community are really excited about Tudor, probably own a Tudor or aspire to own one, and it is a brand that we like. I think there's 4 reasons why this is happening, but honestly, my audience is way smarter than me, so if you have any theories, please do write them in the comments down below, and I'll see you down there. So first, Tudor has a very specific positioning. It is, and always has been, the budget-conscious arm of the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, and tend to cost about half the price of a Rolex, give or take half, and they're usually more affordable than that. A lot of the Western world, even just the world, the typically wealthy countries are almost all experiencing economic hardship, with China and Hong Kong significantly dampening their Swiss watch imports, same with Europe. The US was an uncommon bright spot, but with tariffs and the future side effects, I'm just not sure if this is going to be as optimistic in the next couple years. When finances are tighter, people make less unnecessary luxury purchases and opt to save that money or store it in a safer place. When you're worried about having enough money for next month's rent or mortgage, buying fancy wrist jewelry just isn't a top priority. Those who already have enough money will continue to buy watches, so that's your typical AP, Patek, Rolex customer. And I think I should clarify, because luxury watches is a weird space. When I say your typical AP customer, I don't mean the person who saves up for 4 years to finally buy a stainless steel Royal Oak. I mean people who have a different level of money. These are people who can spontaneously impulse buy a precious metal Rolex, and maybe buying a complicated piece, a very expensive complicated piece, would be a more considered purchase, but they could still afford it. They're not the same as us. Although if you buy any watches, you're probably doing okay. I know I can't complain, but there are people swimming in a very different lane than us. Tudor's target demographic has less purchasing power at the moment. These are more considered choices than they were in 2021, and it shows through how people are spending their money or choosing not to spend it. I know I am being choosier with where I spend my money and how I spend my time. I am a full-time internet person, so I knew I needed to have a website, but I didn't want to spend forever making it, and I don't know how to make a website. And this is where today's fabulous video sponsor, Squarespace, comes in. Squarespace is the place, the all-in-one place to make a website. They have literally hundreds of beautiful, professionally curated design templates. All you have to do is choose whichever one speaks to you, plug in your information, and bam, beautiful website. This is mine. Behold it, take it in all of its awesomeness. This took me less than an hour to make. And I'm really proud of it. You can even use their AI enhanced builder. You just give it a few prompts and let it do its thing, and bam, it will create a beautiful website for you that is still fully customizable to make sure it's a perfect reflection of you. But Brittany, you might be asking, how will people find my beautiful, fabulous website that I've created? Don't worry, they've got you. They come with built-in SEO tools to be indexed with meta descriptions so you show up more often on search engines and your customers can find you. Whatever you are doing, whether you offer services, sell products, make internet videos about watches, Squarespace gives you everything you need to grow your business with easy online payments, built-in tools for inventory, shipping, fulfillment. I've been partnering with Squarespace for a while now. I think they're awesome and I personally use them. If this is sounding good to you, if you want to go check them out, head to squarespace.com/BrittPierce for a free trial. Then when you are ready to launch, use my code, this awesome code on the screen right now, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Love Squarespace, can't recommend them enough, and thank you so much for sponsoring this video. If we go back to my chart and look at the brands, those in the red section tend to be the ones that watch geeks love the most. The ones in the green are the more hype brands, the brands that are quite well known out of watch collecting circles. If you ask a watch geek who makes better watches, Cartier or Omega, they will reply, "Oh my goodness, Omega, of course." But if you ask your non-watch friend, would they rather have a Cartier or Omega watch? 8 out of 10 will probably say Cartier. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is very subjective to my friend group, but I think that's what my friends would say, if I had any. So the brands in green have the strongest brand identity and are largely very, very high-end and luxurious, with TAG being the notable exception. These are brands that are investing a lot in positioning themselves as quite luxurious. And on top of that, these are brand names that a lot of non-watch people will already know, and they will likely know as being good investment potential. If a non-watch person has heard of Patek Philippe, it is probably because of the Nautilus. AP, the Royal Oak. Rolex, well, pick. Now, that's not to say all of these brands actually do hold that value. 95% of Patek Philippe's lose value straight away if you're buying retail. Same with AP, Cartier, but it's about the brand perception and not actually reality. So, in summary, when there's an economic squeeze, people tend to spend less on riskier, not as well-known brands and put their money in a safer bet. This isn't news to Swiss executives. Jean-Frédéric Dufour, the CEO of Rolex, said as much in an interview just ahead of Watches and Wonders 2024, saying, "The pendulum is now swinging in the other direction, and it is naturally more pronounced for the less established brands. For the big brands, the fluctuations are smaller, in the range of 2 to 3%. The names in green are brands that non-watch people will know. They are well-established brands associated with luxury, and the brands in red have a huge challenge ahead of them. Okay, so these next two are pure speculation. I don't know what happens at the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, nor do I know what the future holds. But let's explore this idea together of Tudor maybe having a divided focus because of their heavy investment into movement manufacturing. In 2016, Tudor founded Kenissi, which is a mechanical movement manufacturing facility where they create their own movements and movements for other industrial partners, including Chanel, who owns a 20% stake, Norcane, Breitling, and others. Although Kenissi has these industrial partnerships, it does seem like it is Tudor at the helm, being founded by them, and being literally located right next to Tudor. I think it's actually connected to Tudor. I wonder if Tudor is allocating more resources to the movement manufacturing side, and just how much that business is making. When Tudor first announced Kenissi and putting in-house movements into their watches, I kind of thought this would be a just for Tudor kind of thing. But as more partners come on board and more customer brands, it's clear that they are becoming a Bosch movement supplier, maybe, and using the good name of Tudor to sell movements. I recently made a video on the Norcane Wild One, and people had really big feelings on the non-skeletonized variation being fitted with a Kenissi movement, while the skeletonized had an ETA. has an ETA. On a practical level, there's not all that much that's different about these. The Kenissi has a 70-hour power reserve, but other than that, I don't think Kenissi or Tudor's investment into movements is a part of this slump, but maybe a redeeming area of it, and an important thing to keep in mind when we're talking about Tudor as a brand. And my final thought, just pure speculation, is that there's a real difference in taste between the generations that Tudor just isn't hitting. And I say this as someone who lumps myself in with the oldies. When I talk to my Gen Z nieces, nephews, any young people that I know, or maybe even go watch shopping with them, I'm always picking their brains on what they think. They have never liked thick, chunky tool watches. They do not care about water resistance. They like elegant, refined watches, which very much surprised me, but that's what they seem to like. My nephew just bought himself his first nice watch, a Tissot PRX. Excellent choice, obviously. But what he really wanted was an IWC Portofino men's. He couldn't afford it. It's really expensive. But that's where his tastes naturally lie. When I go to restaurants and see what the young, gorgeous servers are wearing or what the young people are wearing about, it's almost always teeny tiny Casios or vintage Raymond Viel's. It's cute, small watches. Tudor has always positioned themselves as the more youthful side of the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. Born to dare, born to do weird things and experiment. But the problem is, they're not hitting what the youth actually want. They're hitting what middle-aged people like myself consider youthful and cool. And I can't say it enough, I consider myself in that middle-aged crowd, because when I think of a youthful, cool watch, I'm like, Tudor North Flag. What I see as youthful and cool, actually young, useful, cool people see as chunky, thick tool watches that don't speak to them. This is a video I've been sitting on for a while. I wanted to make sure I teased out what I was thinking and could communicate it well. And I think this is a big slump. This is big news and it's worth talking about. I love Tudor. They are shamelessly one of my favorite brands. I talk about them a lot. And if the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation isn't immune from the luxury downturn, it shows you we're in tough times. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did I miss any really big insights? Let me know. You guys are awesome. You always have better thoughts than me. Thank you so much for your viewership. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And thank you so much to the Pope Tier patrons who keep this channel going. They keep me in business. Their names are on the screen right now. Is my hair okay? It's raining a lot outside. I'm very worried that it got my hair. But this isn't about me. This is about you. Fabulous names on the screen. Thank you so much for supporting my weird little channel. I say it all the time, but this channel really runs on people who love it. It runs on viewers and it runs on people who support it. So thank you so, so much. I hope you keep enjoying the work we do here. I absolutely love making these videos. And even if you don't keep enjoying this channel, that's okay. I hope you keep enjoying watches and timekeeping forever. It's fabulous. Every time we're interested in watches, we're joining in on this interest people have had since humans existed, since the first human looked up in the sky and said, ooh, I've seen that star before. I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. And thank you so much.